What is going on, guys? So it has been a couple days since the EA Skate early access has started, and I've been playing it quite a bit, probably too much to be honest. And I actually have quite a bit to say about it. Just for a little background, I did play Skate 2 and 3 growing up. It was actually kind of a big part of my childhood. I went through a pretty intense skateboarding phase. I never got good at it, but I was really into the scene. And first off, I want to say that upon opening the game, I can agree with the initial perception of the character models. I can see why that's a point of contention. Because watching other videos, I thought, it's fine, it's whatever, it doesn't really matter that much. And when you're skating around, honestly, it doesn't. But when I went to create my character and that's the first thing I saw, I was like, there's no way this is a skate game. Like, I don't know what to compare those models to. I almost want to say Sims or something like that. But I have to assume there's some reason for them doing that, either to cut costs or to encourage more cosmetic purchases or something like that, or to performance. I don't know. But that really caught me off guard. And I do think they just, it's not even that they look horrible, they just do not fit the mold of a skate game, especially considering what the other games looked and felt like. Then we have the dialogue and the character voices, and apparently there are still some characters voiced by pro or former pro skaters, but whoever did the writing, no offense, like they they missed the mark, because I've seen this sentiment on Reddit a lot as well, where it's like the dialogue is something it's kind of like, feels like a millennial is trying to copy like a Tony Hawk game from like 2003, and it's very like, how do you do, fellow kids, and I'm like a super quirky skater, and here are these skating terms. You're going to hear the word footy 1,000 times, and they're going to let you know that it's short for footage. And it's like, what are we, who is this written for? Like, this is this is not how skaters sound, and then this is also not how normal people sound. So it's like, who's the target demographic with this dialogue? And then I think I was watching a Phase Scope stream. He was playing the game, and he brought up Coach Frank. And in this game, there's no Coach Frank. There's no professional skaters. The person directing you is literally a AI girl that says just these annoying phrases over and over again, and she's kind of insufferable. You can turn her off, but in missions I think you have to listen to her. So it's like, if they wanted to make the game feel as impersonable and just unrelatable as possible, and also detached from skate culture as possible, like, yeah, let's have this chat bot direct you through the game. And it definitely, stuff like this has led to it not having the niche or raw feel that I can only speak for Skate 2 and 3 that those games had. Like, those games were clearly meant for skaters, and like I said, I wasn't even really a skater, but I loved skateboarding and pro skaters and the culture, and I was really invested in it. And Skate 2 and 3 definitely scratched that itch. This game, it really misses the mark. So, and then another thing is, like I said, there are no pros, so the missions are not you going and doing photo shoots for like Flip or Plan B, or there's no Maloof Money Cup, anything like that. It's just you kind of doing these arbitrary missions. And that kind of leads me to the next point, where I'm not sure if anyone else felt this way, but the missions in the game, I'm not sure if it's supposed to just be a really long, drawn-out tutorial, or if that's supposed to be some kind of story mode. But the missions were grueling for me. I was maybe, I don't know exactly how long, maybe 90 minutes in, maybe more. And the missions are still tutorials on how to manual. Like, manual through this patch of concrete. Oh, do all these manual related things. Next mission, let's do another warm-up. Let's get warmed up before we really I'm like, I don't need warm-ups for manual tutorials. Like, learning how to kickflip. I understand this is some people's first time playing, but it was so drawn out. Everything they taught me through those several hours could have been condensed into like 2 missions, I think. And another thing is, I don't know if this is just me. I do enjoy the map. I think there are some very aesthetically pleasing areas. My favorite is the loop, the elevated loop that goes around kind of the central parts of the city. But I did find myself drifting towards the outskirts a lot. I'm not sure if there's not enough going on downtown or if the spots aren't fleshed out enough, but yeah, I mean, they're not terrible, but I still think Skate 3 has it beat in terms of spots and kind of just the fun that can the lines you can put together. Before moving on too far, I do have to touch on the store system and microtransactions. So obviously the game is free, so I can't get too my panties all bunched up over it too much, but it is genuinely one of the most inconvenient cosmetic stores in a video game I've ever seen. Because to unlock new clothing and new decks, you have to level up your kind of rank at each of the downtown areas, and then you can use in-game currency to buy a loot box that gives you one item that might give you something you want. It's like, if you're grinding at the game, I feel like at some level you should be able to just pick an item and buy it, but you need to buy a loot box, and then there's a chance that you get like a skirt or like a profile sticker you're never going to use, and then there's 8 other items in that loot box. So it could take you 10 tries to get like a baseball cap you want. That is just so absurd to me. And it's just, I have to think it's inconvenience for the sake of driving you towards microtransactions, because it's like, all right, you're grinding the game, you got this currency, buy this thing that has a 10% chance of giving you what you want, and then keep doing that. And not to mention, as I know it's early access, the clothing right now seems incredibly, there's not a lot to choose from. And in my opinion, one of the worst things about this game right now is that there's no real board shop. You can't browse like Flip, Plan B, Birdhouse. You can't just choose a deck. I bought a sticker for my deck that was Girl Skateboarding Company, but my deck still isn't it has no girl graphic. It's just a sticker. And like, where are the skateboards? Like, where are the actual skateboards at? You can buy like these generic designs, but I don't like, it's a skateboard. I don't want a generic design on I want a skateboard brand, you know? Like, that is such a crazy decision to me. But yeah, you need skateboard brands in the game. You need to be able to browse them and not just hope that a month from now you'll be able to pay for one in the item shop. So the lack of brands is really staggering to me. Um and something the Helldivers, I don't know if it's the CEO or but someone important over there, they said a game for everyone is a game for no one. And in my eyes, what EA did with this game is they said, look, skateboarders are going to play this game regardless, so let's take everything that isn't the board physics and make it appeal to people that normally wouldn't play a skateboard game. So they took the art style, the voices, the characters, everything that they could, and said, let's make it extremely painfully generic so that people that don't skateboard might want to play. Because really, there is no trace of skating culture in this game. The dialogue is so awful, and the dialogue kind of, in that sense, it's very similar to Forza Horizon 5, in which, I don't know if any of you guys have played Forza Horizon 5, but that game is, the graphics beautiful, cars beautiful, handling all great, a ton of fun. Everything except the story mode is great. Like, I literally had to mute the dialogue and just mindlessly go through the missions in that game because it's so. Again, I don't know who they wrote that for. I have no idea who Forza. It's they. I know it's a video game. Technically, it's meant for kids, but the dialogue, you would think it's like they're talking to third graders. Skate is very similar in that vein, where it's like the core gameplay is good, but literally everything else is like you gotta turn your brain off and you gotta mute it, you gotta get rid of it because it's just insufferable. And I don't know if any of you guys are returning from previous videos, but this is very similar to what I said about Black Ops 6. I love the core gameplay, but with everything else, everything surrounding it, the items, the slop, the garbage that's in that game, you just have to block it out. And that's really most games except like Helldivers, where the core gameplay might be great, but there's so much microtransaction, bad writing, just soullessness that you have to just play the game and ignore everything else. So it's really a shame that gaming has gone that route, but in reality, these people are trying to make money, and the people that are calling the shots, I mean, if their numbers aren't growing, they're getting in trouble, and it's like, okay, we can't just maintain the skaters. We need to make this game bigger. It needs to be a Fortnite, a game that just appeals to literally everyone. So they couldn't make it too skate niche because then non-skaters would get turned off by it. Yada yada yada. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. With all that said, this was not supposed to be a slander fest, but there's just a lot that I disagree with. Like I said, I've still been playing it. I've been playing it a lot. Um, for me, this is a game I'm not into the glitches and all the crazy stuff. I just like to go for semi-realistic skate lines. I'll have Spotify going in the background, and I could literally do that for way too long. So that's what I get out of this game. And the one thing that got me, all right, they got me, is the board physics are such an improvement over Skate 2 and 3. Not that they shouldn't be. Skate 2 and 3 were on Xbox 360 like 15 years ago or something. So these physics better be better. But it just comes down to the ability to control your flip speed, how fast you flick, and how the board moves like that. That has changed the aesthetic and feel of the game tremendously. So that's enough for me to play it for now. I just kind of hate it because I'm giving into how much just garbage is in the game. But I mean, the board feels good to me, so it is what it is. But let me know how you guys feel about this stuff. The RNG store, the no or extreme lack of board brands, the lack of personality in the game. Is it enough to keep you out, or can you overlook it? Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.